Hello there guys, I'm Unstable Voltage and today I want to introduce you to a nice little game I discovered a while ago called A Flame in the Flood. I first discovered this game back in October of 2014 when it was going through Kickstarter, and I was instantly captivated by the style and look at this game, and I thought I really must get my hands on it and see what it's all about because it really did pull me in, it captivated me. Now, A Flame in the Flood is developed by a very talented development team called the Molasses Flood. Those guys are based out of Boston, Massachusetts, and they are made up of a handful of people actually from Irrational Games. Several of the guys and at least one of the gals there is from Irrational Games, and if that name sounds familiar to you, they were responsible for a little series of games called the BioShock series. People that have worked on this game here, on The Flame in the Flood, have also worked on things like BioShock, BioShock Infinite, Halo 2, Rock Band, Guitar Hero, so there's a very, very good pedigree of talent with this development team. There's no sort of basement coding going on here. So what is A Flame in the Flood? Well, it describes itself as a roguelite survival game, and roguelite is a term that gets thrown around quite a lot, but I guess it is accurate. The game is procedurally generated and it does have permadeath. So roguelite is probably the sort of best terminology for it. Now, one thing I will say at the moment, it is in beta. It's not currently available to buy on Steam, as far as I'm aware. This is literally just a beta version for people who backed at that level on the Kickstarter to get access to. I was very, very lucky enough to get access to it myself by speaking with the dev team at the Molasses Floods, and they've very, very graciously given me a key so that I can show the game to you. Now, this isn't going to be a let's play or anything like this, because if you look up in the top left hand corner of the screen, we're in beta version 0.0. Too many zeros and 4. This is a very, very early build of the game. It is by no means complete. It doesn't have all of the gameplay mechanics in there yet. It doesn't have all of the crafting. There's a lot of stuff missing at the moment. So what I will say is, don't judge the game too harshly on any lack of content. The game is way, way off from being finished. I'm doing this video now because I want to show you guys how beautiful this game is, how amazing the soundtrack is, because this has a full-length soundtrack by an American alternate country rock artist called Chuck Reagan, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's a beautiful piece of art, this game. And this is just me showcasing it. This is me making you guys aware that it exists. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and start a new game. Now, I'm using a keyboard and mouse. It does work very well with a controller, but, you know, I'm a PC gamer through and through. I prefer to use a mouse and keyboard where I can. So we're going to go ahead and start. We get a nice little cutscene here. So here we are. Normally I keep the game music nice and low on YouTube videos for fear of being attacked by the YouTube copyright police, but the soundtrack is so amazing on this game, I really wanted to keep the music nice and high so that you guys could hear it. So this is Scout, and basically you have to survive. You have a little quest. We do have a little mission that we need to do at the moment, which we can have a look here. Our goal is to find a stronger signal. So we have the radio found in Aesop's bag appears to be receiving some sort of signal. Find higher ground or the source of the transmission to hear the message. So obviously a little typo there, but you know, that's what you get with games that are in development. So this is Aesop. Aesop is our pet dog. Now, if you actually look at our inventory here, what you'll notice is we have our own inventory. We have our backpack, we have Aesop's bag, and we have our raft, which we can store items in. Now, obviously the mechanic is if you die, it's permadeath and you restart from scratch. But if there's anything in Aesop's bag when you die, you retain that onto your next playthrough. So I'm just moving around using the WAS and D keys. I can also move around by left clicking. And pretty standard for what you'd expect in most survival games. You've got the time of day, the temperature, your hunger, your thirst, how hot or cold you are, how tired you are, and things like energy, which you use for like swinging your staff to try and scare beasties off, and so on and so forth. So we're going to just go have a little walk around this little island here. I think this first island is always the same. It always seems to be. But you'll see various things on the ground that you can go and pick up. They have these little circles around them, so they're nice and easy to spot. And the dog will also tell you when it spots things. And you'll see sometimes when I pick stuff up, I'll get a little message come up on the right-hand side of the screen. And that's because when you pick certain things up, you actually unlock recipes. And we've got things that we can go ahead and craft. So if we look under consumables, for example, or is it materials? So we can make braided cord. So it's a useful material for crafting trip lines and snares. And we can also make things such as tinder for campfires. So we'll just continue around this little island. Now, most of the islands in this game, as far as I'm aware, are all procedurally generated. But like I said, I think this one is actually always the same. So we've got some jerky, a splint, and some night crawlers. We can grab some water here. So it's not very nice water, so we need to learn to make clean water. So there's nothing here. Obviously, this is where we've started. Now, one of the interesting things about the story of this game is we don't really know when it is set. We know where it's set. The game is set in sort of backwater America, sort of post-society. We don't know whether this is in the future and it's some sort of a post-apocalyptic world, or if it's actually set in present day and this is just a sort of a forgotten area of backwater America. So the other major mechanic in this game is the raft mechanic. So when you have completely exhausted all of the resources on your little island, you get on your little raft here. And again, we get some lovely music. Now you'll see at the bottom here we have this little yellow spanner icon, and this indicates actually how much health the raft has. Now you do have to be very careful because you can actually crash the raft into stuff. And if the raft does crash into stuff, it will take damage. Now, I can move very quickly from side to side by hitting the space bar, but whenever I do that, it uses quite a bit of my strength, and that does take a little bit of time to recover. Now, again, this river is procedurally generated, so every time you play this game, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, you can upgrade your raft as time goes on. You can make it faster and stronger and give it more space for storage. You can also get the materials to repair it if it becomes damaged. And it's game over if you get killed. Now, getting killed can also include completely destroying the raft, because if the raft gets destroyed, you drown. That's it. Now, one thing that makes this game very interesting is that you can only go downstream, because you can see the current is quite strong. And there are times where you will have to make a choice, because the river might split in two directions. And you can either go in one direction or the other. And whichever direction you go in, you will miss out on whatever was down in the opposite direction. So it certainly gives you some difficult choices sometimes. Now, so far at the moment, we haven't actually seen anywhere to dock. This is just the start of the game, just to sort of get you used to steering the boat. We're in the calms at the moment, but there are a lot of rapids around. Now, what I'd like to try and do, if I can, is very quickly get over to this side, because you can see there's a little icon appeared here, which is showing us that there is somewhere that we can dock. The direction that the camera moves in sometimes I find is a little bit strange. It can make it difficult to steer. Not too sure whether that's something that would be slightly better with a controller, but we're going to go ahead and dock here. So every island is given a little name. This is Pig's Eye Bluff. And we have a new area that we can explore. Now, you will find some areas are actually a little bit dangerous because they will have things like wolves that can attack you, so you do have to be careful. We've got a fire here, which we can use. Oh, we can't actually use. We don't have any dry tinder. So if we just go and have a look in our backpack and have a look under consumables. Doesn't look like we can make any dry tinder at the moment, so obviously we don't have enough stuff needed to do that. So let's go ahead and keep exploring this island. Now, there are some rabbits around as well, which we can attempt to catch later. But let's just keep going around and see what we can find. Some of these islands will have these little chests on them, which usually have interesting things in. Got some grubs here. I'm not sure what use they're going to be. And we'll take some suspicious water. Obviously, you don't want to drink suspicious water. You can use it in a pinch, but at the end, it'll end up making you sick if you do. And then you'll have to find and craft medicines. So we're at this campfire here. One thing that we're going to do is going to go into consumables, and we're actually going to go and make clean water. And I do like how you get these little guitar strums. It just plays the chords from the theme tune every time you craft something, which I really, really love about this game. So as you can see, we're currently healthy, but you can get various illnesses that you will need to find medicine for. And you also have some basic equipment, different armour. Some of it will actually protect you a little bit from the elements, and some of it will protect you a little bit from some of the nasty stuff that you can find around the island. A little bit suspicious as to why that fire is lit. I've never been to an island before and found a fire that's already lit. Makes me wonder if somebody else is already here, but as far as I'm aware, there aren't other people in the game. I mean, there aren't NPCs, but I could be wrong, or it could be something that's planned in the future, but I certainly haven't ran into anybody yet. So there's not an awful lot of stuff around here. It would be nice to try and capture a rabbit. I'm not sure if we've got the materials to make a trap. Let's go and have a look. So, traps. We don't have a recipe there to make a trap, but what we can do is we can go into consumables and... no, materials. We can go ahead and make a braided cord. We can make a couple, actually, because we've got a few cattails here. So there we go, we made a few braided cords, and we probably still don't have the trap unlocked yet. No, so we're obviously still missing an ingredient. So even though there's rabbits here on this island, and we could go and grab some of these rabbits, they're not really going to be very useful to us because we can't come back here later on. We've got to find a way to make a trap. We need some more materials, so we can't hang around on this island, and we have to go and continue downstream. And this is where the mechanic of the game comes into its own, because we cannot go back. So anything that you miss, you miss for good. That's it. Once you've gone past it, that's it. Just trying to get around the obstacles here. So the way steering works is if you hit W, you sort of move forwards, and then A and D actually steers you. Just sort of keep quiet for a little bit there and let you guys enjoy the soundtrack. Oh, the wolf. Yeah, now these guys you have to be very careful of. We can shoo them off, but we've got no way of being able to deal with the wolf right now. And it's currently night time, so things aren't looking good for us. We need to find somewhere safer. I almost didn't spot that. It was very, very risky. You can scare them off a little bit by swinging your staff at them, but at the moment I just don't have any way of being able to deal with them. So yeah, sometimes I don't like how the camera sort of turns, and it makes it a little bit difficult to see where you're going. We're in some rapids now as well. Oh, got to be very careful there. Only just missed getting wiped out. I want to try and get away over to that. Oh, no, we've crashed a little bit there. Now we're wet as well. So we're also thirsty. So we've taken a little bit of damage to the raft. Let's see if we can get over here and dock. This is Old Town Island. Hopefully there's not going to be any wolves here, and we might find somewhere that we can actually set down. Now we do actually have some water, so we can go ahead and drink. So let's go ahead and use our clean water and consume it. We also might want to put some of this stuff on to this cattail. We've got lots of it, so we could go and move some of it to Aesop so we could use it next time around. We could also move some of the braided cord, but I think we'll leave it there as is, and we'll just have a little look and see what we can find. Now, there's some crows around here. The crows are alright, but it's the wolves we've got to be careful of, because we just don't know when we're going to run into one. So far, so good. We found a chest here that we can search. So this is assorted hardware, okay. Now, we're wet. We actually need to dry out here. Oh, very, very cool lightning effect. All the crows are squawking. We found another chest. We found some old lumber. Now, if we actually go ahead here and actually look in our sort of ailments, you can see that we are wet. And it's a slow killer out in the wild, because our clothes don't keep us warm anymore. So we need to find a way of getting dry, which means we really need to find or build a fire. So we're going to make sure that we pick up all the water where we can. These crows are very annoying. I must admit, the sound effect of them is a little bit jarring. This is why I've actually turned the sound effect volume down. Oh, my inventory's actually full at the moment, so I can't pick up these mulberries. We're still wet, which is not good for us. Let's move some of this timber to Aesop. Let's move the hardware to Aesop, because we might need that later on. Now we can go ahead and grab these mulberries, which means we've at least got a source of food. We still need to find shelter here. Potentially got somewhere else where we could grab a rabbit or two. There's a building here, but it doesn't look like we can get into it, that we can use it or anything. So this isn't a particular good place for us to be. Now, I thought I did see a fire somewhere. Could have been mistaken. Can we get in here? There are some places that you can actually sleep in. So there are some places you can actually go and take shelter. Now, the rain is another one of the mechanics in the game. The rain sort of chases you along. It starts upriver and moves downstream. So you've got to keep moving, because if you dawdle around in one spot for too long, then the rains catch up with you. And we're actually already getting into a pretty bad state here, because we're getting to a point where we're hungry, we are wet, and we've got no shelter. There's a little campsite up ahead. We'll see if we can work our way to that. So as I'm sure you'll agree, the art style of this game is really, really lovely. The game just looks absolutely beautiful. The soundtrack is really, really well done. Suits the game amazingly well. And, you know, let's be honest, survival games aren't a new thing. There's a lot of them around. But this game has been really, really well put together. We can't light the fire in the rain, which is a bit of a problem. Let's see if we can find anywhere that we can shelter. And hopefully avoid any wolves. So this looks very much like the island that we found earlier on. So maybe the islands themselves aren't procedurally generated, but I know that the river is definitely procedurally generated. Let's go ahead and move the corn to Aesop there. And we'll also move some more of the cattail. We've got lots of that now. We can go ahead and take that flint. We're still going to have problems here because we are suffering quite a lot from the wet. Now there we go. We've got a schematic added now. There's a lot of stuff here that we can't pick up because we don't have the space. But at least we have the materials now to light a fire, even though we need to sort of get away from the fire. So let's just see if there's anything else we can just move to Aesop. We can move the flint, and I guess we can go ahead and move those. Anything else that we could put on the raft? I guess we could put the splint on the raft. We could put the jerky on the raft. And that's probably all we want to do. So let's just go up here and we can grab some of the other stuff. And remember, to actually unlock the recipes for stuff, you need to pick stuff up. So there we go. Let's get off this island. So even though this island does look very similar in layout to the previous island, it certainly isn't exactly the same because it has different resources on it. So it may be that the island is procedurally generated, but it just uses some sort of preset chunks to construct them, which is why bits of it do seem familiar. We need to get out of the rain though. So this is why I just also wanted to, you know, point out once again that the game is still in beta. It's in a very, very early stage of development. What they've done so far works really well. The mechanics are solid. The game has so far been stable. Even though it's not been optimized, it still runs relatively well. And it gives a good idea of what the game is going to be like, what the atmosphere of the game is, what the sort of overall aesthetic of the game is, what the goals of the game are. That stuff is all in there. But remember, there isn't a huge deal of content in this at the moment because it just hasn't been added yet, but it will come later on. So I'll definitely come back to this game in the future once it has been given some more updates. I may do several videos just to sort of follow it through the course of its development, because I think there's a lot of nice things to come from this game here. And we've actually now got managed to get in front of the rain. We've actually got a fire here. Now, we still can't use this fire because we need to craft dry tinder. So we should be able to do that now. Let's go ahead and look at consumables. Can never remember where it is. Materials. Oh, maybe I'm just losing it now. The first time I actually played this through, because I had one playthrough before doing the video, and I actually managed to find the tinder. There we go. It's actually under tools. I wouldn't expect tinder to be under tools. I'd expect the tinder to be under consumables, to be honest. I was going to say it should have been fairly easy to make. Obviously the crows are alarmed. So what we're going to do now is we have the ability to light the fire. Uses one of our tinder, and that will actually dry us out. Now we need to sleep when we're hungry. So we can go ahead and we can... What can we do? Is there something that we can eat? So we can eat this. Produces a poisonous gas when burned. Well, we don't want to do that, but it might be useful. We don't want to eat that. Eat too many berries and you'll get the scoots. Well, that's definitely true, and you don't want that to happen, but we can go ahead and we can consume one of them. That will get our hunger bar up a little bit. Not a huge amount. We need to try and get some meat. Let's go ahead and grab the... But we can't grab stuff from the raft because we're not on the docks. We could go ahead and grab this corn here. We can consume that. We also want to make sure that we cook up some more water. Obviously we do that under our crafting here, so let's go into consumables. Clean water. Now, we're very fatigued right now. We need to find somewhere that we can sleep. We need to find some shelter, but I'm not necessarily sure that there's any around here. Lots of cool stuff that we can pick up. We've got water. We've discovered the recipe for dandelion tea. Got some more flint here. Ah, here's a bus. Now, what we can do here is we can sleep. We choose how many hours we want to sleep for. Let's go for 6. And hopefully, if the crows don't keep us up, we can sleep through and we hit the wake up button when we're done. Now, we do come out at night now, but there is another fire. And we've got more stuff on this island that we can collect. We've got wild garlic. Our inventory's full, though, so I can't really pick anything else up at the moment. So, as you can see, there are quite a lot of different materials and things that you can grab. There's actually a fire there already lit once more. There's some more grubs. Again, the inventory is very, very limited, and that is another one of the game's mechanics. Because you have such a limited amount of space, there is going to be some stuff that you have to discard. There is going to be some stuff you have to go back to the raft. And there is going to be some stuff you have to put on ASOP. But then you've still very, very limited in what you can carry. We're actually very, very hungry at the moment. Going to consume this water, and I'm actually going to consume some more water, and I'll go back to the raft and grab the jerky, and then we can actually use that for food. And then I think what we'll do is we'll just go down to one more island, and we'll take a look at one more of the islands, and then we will we'll end the video there. So we could try and trap some rabbits. I think they tend to only come out in the daytime, though. We might be able to go and grab one of them, but being hungry is our main problem. So let's go ahead and move the jerky to our bag, which we can't because it's full. So we'll move the flint to ASOP. We'll move that flint to ASOP. And we will grab the jerky. And we will consume that. So that sorts out 20 hunger. Sustain us for a little while. We could also grab some berries. Again, we don't want to eat too many because we don't want to give ourselves the trots. So let's go ahead and get on the boat. Or on the raft. We are still wet. Apparently we didn't dry out fully. Let's see if we can head over to this, what looks like a church or a chapel. I haven't been to one of these before yet so far. So, and again, as you can see, it's very much a case of, well, oh, don't crash the raft. It's very much a case of which way do you go? Do you go down to the left or down to the right? Just managed to get there to dock. Deer refuge. Yeah, the raft is very much battered at the moment. One more crash and it's game over for us. So we can grab some saplings, we can grab woods. Spring spear trap. So as you can see, there's some little rabbit holes down here, and what we can do, we can go ahead We can go into crafting. We can look at our traps. And, oh, there's a wolf nearby. Look, you can see it there. Got to be careful with this guy. We've got to keep away from him. We've got no way of dealing with them at the moment. So let's get off here. Would have been nice if we could have had a bit more look around. I guess we could do if I wasn't quite so chicken. We could actually go and have a bit more of an explore. But we do want to stay away from the wolves. So let's go and... oh, we've actually managed to crash there slightly because steering the raft is a little tricky when it's facing the wrong way. So one more clunk against something and that's it. We're done for. Will I be able to get to another island or will we... No, we're going to hit the rock. We're now drowning. And that's it for us. The Flame in the Flood, ladies and gentlemen. A lovely little work in progress from the Molasses Flood. Like I said, I don't think it's currently available to buy on Steam because it's just in a beta for the Kickstarter backers, but it's certainly one that is worth keeping your eye on if you like survival games and if you're captivated by the art style and sound design like I am, then I would definitely put this one on your watch list. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, goodbye for now.